middle of the corner.
Yeah.
I tell you what, go ahead, Steve.
Well, I was just going to say one challenge with the softer tire is the upper lane is going to be dirtier. There's only half the cars out here. When we put them all out here together and they do double file starts, that'll clean. You start to see a little bit of black specks and dust up there. You know what? There you go.
Yep.
You definitely don't want to get that on your tires. It's not going to do anything you want it to do.
I like to see that more than the dust.
Yeah. Instead of just a shade, there's actually chunks of rubber.
Right. We've come here in the past with tires. It literally looks like powder on the racetrack, and this is actually balls of rubber coming up. Tell you what impresses me, you know, you take a team like Travis Peterson and Michael McDowell, of course they're going to come in now, but I was going to say running 48 straight laps. You look at Daniel Suarez, now 62 laps for the 99 car. I mean, that's a ton of laps for these teams to churn out right away here at Bristol. Yeah, if we watch this, I bet the first thing they do when they get this car, when they're done and they get the tires off this car, that all of this team is going to come and be evaluating what these tires look like. 62 laps. Seeing over half a second fall off, Steve. Is that kind of what you're looking at with the new right side tire?
Yeah, most of it's in the first 10 laps. They fall off about 4/10 in 10 laps, and then the next 50 laps they run almost the same speed. Very little fall off at that point. Especially the 99. If I look at his run from lap 36 to 62, you could basically throw a blanket over his lap time, which maybe is the strength of the 99 car, right? Maybe he's the one car that's able to do that. We'll have to get more cars running that long to compare.
Ty Dillon with 6.5 minutes left here in the practice session for Group A at Bristol.
Yeah, a few high points this year, probably the 8th in Atlanta being the biggest one. I think this is a team that had some momentum going the right direction in the midsummer, and it's kind of cooled off late. I think Allmendinger has been a little bit more consistent. This 10 car has had some issues. Now, getting wrecked by your brother.
Yeah, that didn't help, did it?
Yeah, that's an issue nobody wants. And look, Austin felt awful about this. Now, no offense, but feeling bad doesn't really make a huge difference, right? It still happened, but here it is. 3 goes in, chases his car up, catches his brother right in the left rear quarter.
I loved his apology on the radio. Of all the people, I would never do that. I didn't mean to do that. I'm so sorry. And he apologized after the race too, Jeff. I mean, did you ever wreck Ward?
He
unintentionally.
He would tell us last week. We asked.
Well, I say no. Ward. Yeah. Yeah. If you ask me, if you ask Ward, you'll get 2 completely different answers. Well, we're going to text him here in a second. Well, anyway, so we're not. But yeah, family stuff is. And when he was talking, you know, when Austin was talking on the radio, he knew his mom was listening. Yeah, exactly. So, Tina was listening. Yeah.
Sorry, Mom.
Yes, it's funny, but it's not. You're right. And so Ward and I have had enough time to laugh about it, but it wasn't funny then. Do you notice how we still really didn't get an answer? I mean, we got a little bit more of an answer.
He's been in media training his whole life. See the 6 of practice last right here. Not running better, but running the top. Yes. So Jeff and I were out the pace car earlier. What did we decide in the pace car? At about 75 miles an hour, the front valence will bottom out on the bottom lane. And at about 75 to 80 miles an hour, it absolutely won't bottom out on the top lane. So when you talk about vertical loading and the difference between the top and the bottom, some very scientific testing was done earlier today in the pace car.
And I would like, on that note, I would like to say that I had nothing to do with the damage on the splitter in the pace car. Which the insurance company is listening. During your run? Nope. So wait a minute, Jeff. Help me understand. A.J. Allmendinger went up there for 1 corner and said, that's enough. Here's Brad Keselowski doing it for multiple laps. Why? Well, to be honest with you, I don't know. I mean, the pace is off so much. I don't know what you're learning when you do this. I think if he can get other people to go up there with him, he can, they can burn this groove in, and that's helping. That would help the second group, and there goes the 4 of Noah. But you've got to drag people up there. If you get enough people in the top lane, then you can get the racetrack cleaned off, and that's kind of what's happening.
Now, I will say, the pace is off of practice, but the lap times Brad Keselowski is currently running will be exactly what they run in the race. So if you are working on travels and how much you sit on your rear shock stops, which you want to avoid here, especially at the bump off turn 2, I, as a crew chief, can see why I would ask my driver.
But he's wrapping the bottom here.
Brad was just told he can get a little higher entry and turn down into 3 and 4. He's really wanting to search around this racetrack.
Well, and it's working. 16 won that last lap, and you see the 7 of Haley unable to just drive right by Jeff that other guys have been able to do. So I think while it's not perfect, it's improving.
Yeah, it's definitely getting better. He went up there, Noah went up there. Hill in the 33 running the Cup race tomorrow night. He went up there.
It's not quicker, but it is certainly cleaning it off a little bit. So
yeah, well, the guys in the second group appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly right. They're getting it ready for all those playoff cars to come out.
I think the end of the second group will be around the top. I think I've seen enough out of what the 6 did right there that I bet in 20 minutes time we're going to see the majority of cars around.
Truck race. So what they'll do is they have a way to measure the grip. They, before the race and after the race, so they'll watch the races, try to understand what's going on. They will reapply tomorrow morning. But they're not 100% committed to that. I'd say they're 95% committed. You just got to look at the evidence and let it speak for itself. Well, we've done it enough now to kind of understand what it needs to look like tonight to make sure it's good for tomorrow.
Cole Custer making his 6th start here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Finished 8th here a couple of years ago.
Spent some time in the garage with Aaron Kramer, the crew chief on this car, and asked about the big announcement, switching to Chevrolet next year. What does that mean currently? And as expected, he said, listen, Ford's very polite, but they're obviously protecting any development stuff they have, knowing they're switching manufacturers. They're not really turned on to Chevrolet until Ford gets shut off. He expects it to be a very busy off-season, just understanding what info and how they're going to prepare it for Chevy. You know what I mean, Jeff? So you're going to get this big, file of data. But what employees do you need on the team side? Do you need a tire guy? Do you need more of an aero guy? Like, what are the strengths and weaknesses of the new manufacturer?
So here's a great example of the unknowns. You may have heard a lot of talk this week about the Goodyear rubber and how soft it's going to be, and it might come apart in a few laps. Justin Haley, in the first practice, has just run 78 laps on the same set of tires. And that car right there, everyone will run over there and look at those tires. Every bit of information they can get off of those tires, they will get. But if you listen to some people this week, it was like you might not be able to make 20 laps.
Yeah.
And you just saw the 7 car run 78. It just shows you, even though these teams have a lot of science and a lot of understanding, there are some things that are unknown until you get to the racetrack.
Coming up, all the playoff drivers, all 16 of them. The field will be cut down to 12 after the Bristol
are good, others not so much.
But that's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway. Practice and qualifying for the Bass Pro Shops Night Race, NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs Cutoff Race for the round of 16. Let's go down to pit road with Wendy Venturini.
Justin Haley, fastest in this practice round here at Bristol. You have to feel good, but tell us exactly what the car gave you for feedback, Justin.
Yeah, we were pretty good the whole time. Obviously, thanks to everyone at Espero Motorsports for unloading a quick car here. Obviously, all three of us are pretty quick, so. Yeah, we'll keep wrenching on it. It's a long weekend, so just got to keep ahead of it.
I know you're busy talking with your team and with teammates. What have you guys learned so far in these quick practice session?
The new tires pretty much the same as it's always been. So, yeah, it was not much change there. So, yeah, pretty good.
Does it feel any softer to you? Does it feel the same?
No, they felt the same as they always have.
All right, that is Justin Haley, who's fastest in this practice session. For the guy second fastest, he's with Andrew Curlin.
Yeah, Carson Hocevar second in that practice session. Your teammate Justin Haley said the tire feels pretty similar. What was your takeaway from it?
Yeah, I mean, there's really not any tire fall off or wear a ton, but it's still fun to drive always here at Bristol, and our cars are pretty quick, and so hopefully we can qualify good, because qualifying is going to be, it's already important here, but probably a little bit more with the tires, how they're reacting right now. Normally you have the most fall off in practice and it gets better as you rubber in, but right now it doesn't really seem like a whole lot, so it's just going to be important to get out front and stay out there.
Weekend,
you know, it's
the
sun's beating down on this track. It's going to cool off, obviously, in race conditions. How much do you think it's going to change from day to night?
Cutoff race of the 2025 Cup Series playoffs. The playoff field
ultimately, you rubber
from
in
16
and then
down to 12.
Bit.
Next weekend.
Yeah, it's always fun, especially when the top opens up. I think it'll open up faster than it probably has in past. Normally it takes a little bit, but it seems like it right there, like right at the end of our practice, you can kind of move up.
Well, Wendy, that's Carson Hocevar's analysis of this first Bristol practice session.
And I'm with AJ Allmendinger, who's also fast in this practice session, fifth right now. And I was just talking to AJ about that right side tire. Does it feel any differently from the cockpit?
Not really, no. It's, you know, you could run hard on it. You definitely could feel, I felt like with the softer tire, you can feel the car kind of move around just because the rubber's so soft and you're trying to get the thing to settle down. But I felt like we ran, I think, 61 laps here, and it seemed like we lasted okay. So we'll see. We've seen how this tire, like just the tires in general, been here. Like you can court them, and then all of a sudden we run 160 laps on them tomorrow. More importantly, I thought our Grizzly nicotine pouch of Chevy was pretty balanced on them. So we're able to run a decent amount of laps to get a good tire read and now get ready for qualifying.
What more do you want out of your car this weekend? Where was it lacking?
I think it's more driver, really. A little bit of it is just trying to such a rhythm racetrack, and you're trying to be patient, and you're so fast around here that it's easy to kind of drive tight or loose into it. The last run there, we had a pretty good balance, but the top hasn't come in for us. We kept trying to run it in, but no rubber really got laid down. So it'll change if we get that run in, but you know, now we got to go focus on qualifying. It's tough around here, so you got to have a good qualifying spot, especially I think inside the top 15 to kind of keep yourself without getting lapped there in the first stage if it runs green. So hopefully we go do that.
All right, good luck out there. That's AJ Allmendinger. He and his teammate Ty Dillon running Grizzly nicotine pouches. So it's a neon green and black paint scheme for AJ Allmendinger this weekend.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you very much, Andrew. Right now, the drivers in Group 2, they're sitting in their cars waiting for the green flag to come out. The teams that were in Group 1, they're under the 10-minute clock to make adjustments before they go out for 2 laps of qualifying here shortly.
So we had 2 big stories in the first group. Spire Motorsports, first, second, and fourth with Haley, Hocevar, and McDowell. And so far, we're getting a big thumbs up on this new right side tire from Goodyear.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network. Engines are starting to fire for Group 2 practice for the NASCAR Cup Series here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Mark, this is a cutoff race, and I know there are a couple of different words that get used for the final race in a round. I don't like to call them elimination races because I feel like all 9 races leading up to the championship race can be an elimination race. You take Darlington. For Josh Berry and Alex Bowman, that might have been their elimination race. Of course, that did continue for those 2 teams at Gateway as well. But any one of these races could be the race that takes you ultimately out of playoffs contention. This one, we cut it off. We're at 16 drivers. We're going to drop 25% of the playoffs field when the checkered flag flies tomorrow night in the Bass Pro Shops night race. And right now we've got a handful of drivers, Austin Dillon, Shane Van Gisbergen, Alex Bowman, and Josh Berry that are below the cut line. But Austin Dillon's only 11 points behind Austin Cindric with Team Penske.
And Joey Logano sitting at plus 21, currently ranked 10th, would like a little bit more breathing room. He has seen what happens when you come to Bristol without a big gap of points. He has been knocked out in this round at Bristol, so he certainly would like a little bit more breathing space.
And by the way, if your vision of Joey Logano at Bristol is celebrating with the Gladiator sword a couple of times in the night race, go back and look at history in the next-gen car. The results are not great at all, Mark. You go back and look at what Joey Logano has done here in the next-gen car, their finishes of 20th and beyond. He has just simply not figured out this racetrack in this car.
And he talked about that at Darlington. They just haven't figured it out. He can't get the feel that he needs. They certainly are hoping to find something a little bit better going into this weekend because 21 points is really not a whole lot to go on right there. And we always seem to have a named driver or two get knocked out of the playoff. From last year, Martin Truex Jr., he was gone in round 1. So there's always a name. Somebody always gets bit in the cutoff race, and it's always every once in a while it's a surprise. Sometimes it's a big surprise, like a Joey Logano and a Martin Truex Jr.
All right, here we go. The green flag is out. Denny Hamlin has the orange and blue Kings Hawaiian colors this week on his number 11. Of course, the race sponsor, the Bass Pro Shops Toyota of Chase Briscoe. That's a great-looking race car out there. We see Christopher Bell going out there. The Hendrick cars, William Byron, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman. When you talk about the Hendrick cars and the strength that they've had so far this season, it's been good, but I would say it was almost first third of the season good. They need to find that. They need to get the pendulum swinging the right way. Chase Elliott's had a couple of good finishes here in these playoffs, and especially last week, a nice third-place run for him. But still, they got a lot. They have a lot to improve.
And they've got to catch up to Joe Gibbs Racing. They've gone up another notch, and right now they've got 3 drivers in the playoff. Looks like all 3 are going to go into the next round. 2 are already guaranteed. Christopher Bell in pretty decent shape coming into this race. But again, Hendrick Motorsports not to their level, right? For a lot of teams, it would be like, hey, that's great, but not for Hendrick Motorsports.
When we give you practice times and positions where they rank on the scoreboard, this is going to be where they rank on the scoreboard overall now. What we see, they don't separate Group 1 from Group 2. You're ultimately filtering yourself into the entire field of race cars out there. So right now, Justin Haley still being shown in the fastest. He was in Group 1. We'll delineate those for you as we're doing rundowns and let you know where people in Group 2 are. But they're just getting up to speed. The big question right now, 15.307. Is that fast enough for top 5 speed, top 10 speed? Or is that going to be something beyond? We'll find out, Mark.
And again, the track had a chance to cool down just a little bit. We'll have to see how that, again, is something that factors into what we're going to see in this second group of practice. Alex Bowman going by, looking for his 3rd straight pole position here at Bristol Motor Speedway. That team now full-blown panic mode. After 2 disastrous races here in round 1, they now swapped out a major portion of their pit crew. I mean, they're going for broke here at Bristol.
Yeah, Alex Bowman, everyone but the fueler is new to him on the pit crew. They took it from Carson Hocevar. Hendrick Motorsports has several pit crews that they employ. They lease out some of those to Spire Motorsports. We saw a swap earlier this year between Justin Haley and Kyle Larson's crews as well. Now we see the swap for Alex Bowman. The tire changers, 2 of them. The jackman, 1 of them. The tire carrier, 1 of them. Only the fueler remains on his car. But here in group number 2, Ryan Blaney is the fastest, 2nd quick overall behind Justin Haley.
And at this point, we have Blaney in that spot, and then we go a little bit farther down. Briscoe 6th Hamlin 7th overall. They're the next in the line in this second practice session.
Yeah. And beyond that, you got Chase Elliott, quick 8th overall. Ty Gibbs, he's not a playoffs driver, but he is in this group too, 9th overall. Ross Chastain, who will join us for tonight's Food City 300 Xfinity broadcast. He is 10th overall. He's been the biggest surprise for me, Mark, when it comes to what we've seen in the playoffs, in that Ross Chastain's qualifying average is mired in the 20s. And now his playoffs qualifying average is 5.5.
Again, he talked about that on our broadcast, right? They've got to tune that up and turn that part of their program up as well. Chastain, he's always a wild card in these races, because no one, once he gets a car that's halfway right, nobody is going to be more aggressive than Ross Chastain in trying to get to the front, trying to take positions, and trying to hold off other drivers. Nobody more aggressive than him.
19 points above the cut line coming into this race. The big question mark, how aggressive do you feel he can be? That's a bit of a cushion. It's not the ultimate cushion. And again, 19 points above the cut line.
I think he's chasing stage points in stage 1 and 2. And depending on how that turns out, we'll see what happens in the third and final round. But if you're in that kind of shaky territory, tweener land, Logano plus 21, Cindric plus, 11, you've got to run for stage points. You have no other choice to try to get a little bit more cushion before we get to the end of the race.
So, Mark, Justin Haley is being shown at the top of the scoreboard. Ryan Blaney right behind him, but Blaney is actually not any slower.
15.307. They both run it exactly to the 1,000th of a second. And again, at the time I thought, that's a great lap by Haley, but I don't see it being that great once we get the playoff drivers out there. But it looks like it's been a pretty good lap. It's still standing up.
All right, among the drivers here in group number 2, Ryan Blaney is 2nd quick overall. Chase Briscoe 6th quick overall. This is among the entire field. Denny Hamlin 7th quick. Chase Elliott 8th quick. Ty Gibbs 9th quick. Ross Chastain is 10th quick. We still have almost 20 minutes to go in practice for the NASCAR Cup Series here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
We work hard to keep our cars looking great.
That he's passing his teammate. I know he's got a pretty good lead, 21 points, but he has not been good here at all recently. I actually think there's more pressure on that 22 car, Trevor.
Yeah, and I talked to Paul Wolf and Joey Logano about that, and throughout the year they feel like their execution exceeds their speed. Here at Bristol, they feel like they had
and run well enough that everyone above him has to perform. Because I think if the 3 struggles and they have some sort of issue, then that's what's really going to move it more than anything.
But would you consider, just because they are below the cutoff, Steve, that they can operate from a position of, freeness, for lack of a better term, in a way, because they're the ones who don't have anything to lose.
Oh, they have something to lose, being eliminated. Whether they came in above or below, this was still a 3-race round. So I don't see it quite that way. I think there's just as much pressure on the 3 as there is the 2. I don't think I'd rather be the 2. I'd rather be above. By no means is it better to be below. I don't think there's really any freeness to be that close in points, because I think you have to count points. If anyone, I think, is coming in here kind of throwing their hands up in the air, might be the 21 of Josh Berry, who probably has to win the race. I think the 3 car is close enough that running well is the answer to advance, scoring points.
I think a little bit of confidence, too. Short tracks, top 10 finishes in the last 3 short track races. So this is kind of where he's most comfortable. But look, this may not come down to a battle on track. How many problems have we seen on pit road? Pit crews have been all over the place. Some have been solid mistakes, speeding on pit road, bad pit stops. You lose track position here, Steve. I don't care how fast your car is. You're not just going to drive up through the field and get your spots back.
Well, you mentioned troubles on pit road, the 48 of Alex Bowman. He has had just a subpar because of this issues and some team decisions. There's been a bunch of changes to the 48 pit crew for this final cut race in the round of 16. We'll see if it improves the pit stops, but I agree with you, Jeff. I just just don't think you have the ability to give up track position regardless how fast your car is.
Pretty much an entire new pit crew for Alex Bowman. Both changers, the Carrier, the Jackman, all new. But they come as a group, Steve, from Carson Hocevar's team, who is the development Hendrick team. And I think them coming as a group, do you think that helps them acclimate to the 48 much quicker?
I think coming as a group, and because they've been, pitting the 77 car, and Carson Hocevar has put them on the map. If you're pitting cars running 25th and 30th every week, I think it's pretty easy. It's not a whole lot different than changing tires in the parking lot. But when Carson Hocevar does these special things and drives up inside the top 10, then you are focused. And when you have bad stops, you see it. So I believe that this development opportunity for the Hendrick pit crews to work at Spire has only become more valuable as Spire has improved as an organization, because it puts them up front testing. Remember, one of the Spire teams won the pit crew challenge.
Right.
So these guys know how to get it done, and we see these teams rotate around.
And remember, Kyle Larson did a partial pit crew swap earlier in the year, and they ranked #1 after that. Jeff, what are you noticing with the 22 team?
Well, we talked about the 22 struggling, taking off. He only ran 15 laps and came in and had to make a change to the car. And this, Steve, is just not what you want to do. Now you're going back out. Your air pressures are messed up. It's all you can do when you're that far off. You have to come in here and make changes, Trevor, but it certainly wasn't what they were hoping for.
That's exactly right, Jeff. And he said he was just sideways as soon as he would pick up the gas. As the track widens out, you can do things to move around. You can move up the track to tighten yourself up on exit. But right now, when he's got to be pinned to the bottom on the short run, he just felt like he needed a much bigger adjustment than what they could run out there in that long run.
Well, it wasn't what they wanted. But you also can't be in denial. If you're that far off, you got to come in and make a change, because you have to also learn, right? And you're going to make a change, and Joey's going to understand what his car did, how it felt, if that's the right direction or not. Now, on the other hand, his teammate Blaney, he's second fastest overall, which is really impressive to be able to jump up in the second group and be that fast compared to the first group.
Tied for the fastest lap with Justin Haley, but the fastest here in Group B. So, you always want to compare yourself to your teammates, right? Well, Ryan Blaney is the quickest, not only on one lap, but as you see right there, 15-lap average as well.
Yeah, he's flying right now.
But last week, Steve, it was an interesting end of stage 2 for Ryan Blaney.
Ford said he totally misjudged it. He spun the 12 out. I thought the move was a bit shocking. Not because it was a mistake, but it's just a mistake I don't expect out of the driver of the 5. His skills are, well documented. What he can do behind the wheel has been very impressive. It's been a little bit of a slumpy summer, and a mistake like that kind of adds a little bit of the peculiarness to what's going on with the 5 car. That wasn't a misjudge by a foot. I mean, that was a misjudge by a few feet.
Yeah.
Shocked me. A mistake's still the same, just not one I expect out of a driver like Kyle Larson.
The positive side, all year long, we've seen the speed in that 12 car. He did come back and finish 4th.
Yeah.
And that's their strength. Speed is their strength. With the 12, the weakness is getting the finishes to be as good as their speed.
Is that a different conversation, Jeff, if Ryan Blaney doesn't come back and finish 4th last Sunday?
Probably. but look,
it was fair. Really symbolizes my point.
Well, look, but both of those guys, mistake, and still that respect doesn't go away, and that conversation is different with that guy than a guy that's constantly causing issues.
Yeah. And what do you say when you say something? The guy goes, "Yep, I messed up." Well, that just took all the air out of the balloon. Like, what can you say?
And Steve, if you were an NBA team or an NFL team, you would say it could be a get-right game for this team. Is this a get-right track for Kyle Larson and his team? I mean, he's absolutely dominated the last 2 races here at Bristol.
He has, but so yes and no. I would expect the 5 to be very, very good, because even when he didn't dominate him for the win, he's always run very good here. This is a driver-style racetrack that seems to fit him. I think it's unfair to expect this sort of performance to continue. I mean, led over 400 laps in both races. So I think we're almost setting him up for failure to say, well, if he doesn't lead 400 laps, then there's something wrong.
SVG has been very open. Bristol has not been his best place since he's been in NASCAR.
Well, look, most likely they're not going to have the pace to race themselves into the next round of the playoffs. What they have to do is stay on track. They have to. They're going to have the pace needed. Now, he's not running bad right here. The last lap at lap 27 was a 15, essentially a 16 flat. That's not a terrible lap by any means, but this team has trouble putting it all the way together. Even when we see pace during practice, it doesn't always come through in the race. So this is an extremely challenging weekend. So go as fast as you can, limit mistakes, take advantage of others. To me, that's not the strategy they'd like to play, but I think it's a strategy that they have to play.
Well, unfortunately, the 21 of Josh Berry, I think their strategy needs to be to gamble, gamble, and gamble some more unless something happens very early in this race. It has been anything but smooth. It's really been, when I say uneventful, it's only been uneventful because he didn't run long enough to get a lot of storylines. It was a big event, lap 1, corner 2 for the 21 of Josh Berry, and then Chase Elliott felt awful about this one. Josh Berry kind of let him off the hook, didn't expect it, but contact from the driver of the 9 into the left rear. So 2 races, 2 wrecks for the driver of the 21 has put him in this position where mathematically he doesn't have to win, but realistically I think victory lane is the only pathway forward for the driver of the 21.
And that's a tough task for a team that's really kind of had their challenges on pit road this year and putting together complete races. How about the situation for Ross Chastain coming into the race, Jeff?
Yeah, I think Ross Chastain kind of, he's advanced. They need the clean race. They need the good pit stops. Pit crew's been really good all year. Just understand your position. Stay out of trouble. Don't start the cautions. Just have a clean race and you're advancing.
I actually think qualifying today is more important for Logano, Chastain, Cindric, and Dillon than perhaps anyone in the playoffs. Because the guys at the top, they don't have to have stage points. They just need to stay running. The guys at the bottom, stage points are great, but they're thinking win. It's that middle group, the group I just mentioned, Ross Chastain kind of center field of that group. If the 2 and the 3 could qualify in the top 10 and the 1 not, that's a real big head start for stage points. Or flip it. If Ross Chastain could qualify in the top 10 or 12 and just maintain there and score 2 or 3 points at the end of the
as well. See a little scrape with the wall there for Bubba Wallace. Here's what happened, Jeff.
Wow, that thing
took forever, didn't it?
Well, yeah, I wondered if he
would be just asking for fun a little bit the front end, but all in all, really good there. Stayed the same the whole run.
There you go. So he likes his car, just got up a little bit too high. That won't be too high tomorrow night. The track will get cleaned off, and you better run there, but track's just not ready for it right now.
Bubba's going to climb out of the car. Meanwhile, his teammate Tyler Reddick still getting some laps done here at Bristol. Reddick just 34th fastest, lap 58. Working lap 59 for him. Trevor, what's going on with the 45?
You know, guys, when I started looking at Tyler Reddick's stats at Bristol since he's moved to 2311, it kind of shocked me. This seems like the kind of track that would suit Tyler Reddick, where you can move around, search for clean racetrack. Guys like Kyle Larson that have similar backgrounds have really excelled here, but it's been a struggle for Tyler Reddick in this 45 car. Their best finish is 15th in 4 starts. Obviously not great on the short run today, but the little bit of glimmer of hope is on the long run. He seems to be okay right now. He's a little bit off in turn 4 compared to the 12 car, but close to matching his lap times here, 58 laps into the run.
And Trevor, I'll add, while I agree that he's not great on the short run, his first 5 or 6 laps were in traffic as well. His fastest lap was lap 10. So don't panic if you're a Reddick fan. He's 34th. Now, I don't believe he's a top 5 short run car, but I don't think he's quite as bad as the timer shows.
I'll tell you who's really good, surprisingly. This is shocking. Denny Hamlin. You know, this team.
Shall I pick you up off the floor, Jeff, in your shock at this?
This team has been so good. And, you know, I think, to me, the 12 of Blaney, the 11 of Hamlin are the 2 best cars here in practice. They keep kind of trading fastest lap on older tires, but both look really good.
And if it becomes a bottom chasing racetrack, that only leans more to the 11 of Denny Hamlin. What a week it was last week. There's your buddy Bill Murray, Jeff.
Oh, they're going to tell him what was going on with this conversation.
The key was the Bill Murray speech to you and to Denny Hamlin for a great day. But when it came to the racing, Steve, on that final restart, once Denny Hamlin got the lead, there was
love that. I think the sport needs somebody who's willing to be booed and lean into being booed. He's always said 60 career wins, and we had an interesting conversation after the race, Kyle Petty and I, about what would a championship mean to him. And dare I say, of course he wants to win one. But I believe that 59, like, he has so many career wins now that I'm not sure a championship adds or changes his legacy of currently what it is. 2 or 3 championships, maybe. But for a guy to go out and win nearly 60 wins, and perhaps 60 wins in his career, I think it's all about winning races now. That approach may lead him to a championship, but I like the fact that he's talking about winning more than the points or what it may do for a championship.
You see 2 of the last 4 Bristol races have gone to Denny Hamlin, the other 2 to Kyle Larson.
So you're saying the 11 and the 5 are
Yeah, I think they're pretty good, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go out on a limb there and pick one of those 2 guys.
And I'll say something about Blaney. If a meteor falls out and hits this place, it's Blaney, because he gets wrecked more leading here by somebody else's mess
Blaney,
than anybody.
Yeah, Jonathan Asper told me, man, we've been so good, we just need to finish a race at Bristol. How about Hamlin's teammate Christopher Bell, Jeff?
He's not quite where he wants to be on pace, a little bit off, about a 1/10 of a second off of where some of the better cars are. He's not bad. Well, as I said, there's just a few that are separating themselves. He expressed his frustration at the end of last week's race. He's like, man, we got the fastest car, and we keep finishing back here with it. And you know what? I was glad to hear it. Christopher Bell, always kind of a quiet, mild-mannered guy. You know, he is one of our superstars, in my opinion. He can be that guy. He can go win 3-4 championships. And I like the fact that Christopher is feeling comfortable enough to voice those opinions and to show his frustration, because he didn't do any harm by telling his team he was frustrated. They were frustrated too, right? And so they'll get in there and they'll have a conversation about how to be better. But I'm okay with the driver showing his frustration. And I think for this guy who has consistently been easy to work with, just goes to work, you know, does everything what he needs to do to be successful, it's okay for him to voice his frustration.
I think it's important for a driver to voice his frustration as long as he's willing to put the work in, and I believe Christopher Bell is. And I think there's actually a long list of drivers in the garage that are that way. I think there have been drivers in the past that kind of drop grenades and then run away, and they just show up next weekend hoping it's fixed. I don't have that out of Christopher Bell at all, right? He's the group that tells me that he would, you know, he's the kind of driver that would tell me that hey, I'm frustrated, but we're going to dig in together. Let's listen to what he had to say after the race.
We just were in 7th with the best car on the track. Every week it's the same. We're the last car to pit road. I'm over it. I hear you, buddy.
So he's frustrated. Now, what I will say is, so I'm going to, of course, you know, team crew chief, I'm going to stand up for Adam Stevens. He was the last car on pit road because winning St. Louis wasn't the goal, wasn't what was needed. for the 20 car, he did, I would have called the same race Adam Stevens called. Pit last, run worse, and score enough points to advance.
That same exact strategy is why Chase Elliott wound up third in that race.
Right.
They pitted the same exact time and started beside each other on the final restart.
So can both be right, because I'm also thinking that I'm totally fine with Christopher Bell losing his mind on the radio, and I'm actually totally fine with how Adam Stevens called the race. I think that's the job of player and coach. They don't always have to agree.
And Trevor, I certainly think there's a factor, too, that when you see your teammates win the first 2 races of the playoffs, that doesn't make things much better either.
No, that never helps. And, you know, here at Bristol, I always have my crew chiefs tell me, things happen fast. You don't have time to hit the microphone button. But take a listen. Another frustrated driver, Austin Dillon, was able to find the microphone button.
Try to hustle the entry a little bit to see what it'll do for you. I can't. I'm hustling all the way around the track. I'm coming to you. If you want to go faster, tighten me up more. Come on.
Well, Steve, he just said he just needs to be tighter, I guess, huh?
Oh, getting to that point in the year. Everybody's a little on edge, a little bit frustrated.
Kind of sound like his radio from St. Louis last week, Steve.
It did. And, you know, that's where as a crew chief, you have to understand that you have the ability to kind of look at the data, to take a deep breath, go get a cold drink of water. You know, the drivers are kind of out there on an island at times by themselves. And as long as it's pointed in the pursuit of improvement, I usually can overlook it. It's when it becomes either personal or attacking, but I didn't hear that out of either of those radios.
And Jeff, you guys are out there churning 15-second laps, and there's a lot going on when you're at a place like Bristol. Does that add to the frustration when your car maybe isn't where you want it to be?
Yeah, because any little bit that you're off is way more here because it's so fast. So if you're off just a little bit, it adds up to a lot of lap time. And, you know, you're out there driving as hard as you can, and somebody's saying, hey, I need you to drive harder. I don't have any more. That's it, unless you want me to wreck. Hey, one car I want to update here. He's come down pit road now, but we always have these, you know, sleepers. This is the guy for me this weekend. Ty Gibbs, if you look at his lap time, he is every bit as good as Blaney. He's every bit as good as Hamlin. Could this be the weekend that Ty Gibbs gets his first win? I mean, it's going to be hard because all these guys in the playoffs have so much to race for, but he has the pace to get it done.
He has 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s in his 5 Bristol starts. So Ty Gibbs, certainly someone who can be strong here this weekend. William Byron, I mean, Steve, where has the regular season champion been in the first 2 races of the playoffs?
Just good enough. That's what I would say. I would say the 24, much like the 20, would love to be faster and they'd love to have trophies, but they're just kind of managing the playoffs, working their way through, advancing round by round. I think they're doing everything they needed to do to advance out of the first round. It's unpopular. Data analytics normally is not a big, not a big winning spot for the race fan. People don't like data analytics. I hate them in most sports, but I think they're doing what they need to do. They want to be faster. They're not trying to be average, but
of course.
But I think at this point, these 3 weeks, you just need to stay on track. I think it's much for the 9 of Chase Elliott. You know, I think he's doing what he needs to advance.
Yeah, Chase is off a little bit. He pitted during that session, only 51 laps as opposed to Blaney, who had 84 laps, so they weren't completely happy with their car. Alex Bowman kind of the same way.
And just like that, 20-plus minutes of practice over for Group B in the playoff cars, with Ryan Blaney being the quickest so far. Well, the round of 16 included the Southern 500, and an eventful one it was for the playoff teams with Chase Briscoe in victory lane. Last weekend, St. Louis with Denny Hamlin advancing.
Broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress.
Bristol Motor Speedway alongside Mark Garrow. My name is Brad Gilley, covering pit road today. Wendy Venturini and Andrew Curlin. They're starting to push the cars out to the end of pit road, Mark, and we're going to go qualifying. It'll be short track qualifying, which means 2 laps that each of the teams can take to be able to try and make their fastest lap. It'll be interesting to see if that evolves. If someone puts up a fast one on the first lap, you know what? You're probably not going to start on qualifying tires, but it would be nice to have 1 lap fresher should you need to use those qualifying scuffs.
Every little bit helps here at Bristol Motor Speedway. So Alex Bowman, first 15 Bristol races, it took him 15 to get his first pole. Now he's gone back-to-back. Now he's trying to become the first driver to win 3 straight poles since Rusty Wallace back in 1997 and 98. Back then, Rusty owned this racetrack. I mean, he absolutely owned this place. So it'll be interesting to see if Alex Bowman can get that done, which if you're just trying, and you're in his mode where you got to win the race, getting the #1 pit would be a great step towards that.
Oh, that would be amazing. One of the things I really loved when Rusty Wallace had his last call, his retirement tour, and they were giving gifts to Rusty Wallace at every track during pre-race. Well, he won 6 races here at Bristol. He was the driver of the Miller Lite car at the time. They gave him a bronze 6-pack. How appropriate was that? I thought that to me was like one of the coolest retirement tour gifts that I'd ever seen.
Rusty Wallace was just one of the coolest guys that has ever raced here in NASCAR. He was a lot of fun. He was very colorful. Out on the town, he was just a big fun guy and very popular among the fans. And in the Garrow family, Rusty Wallace walked on water because at one point back in the day, we were at Dover. He went to my home track, Claremont, New Hampshire, Claremont Speedway. I said, "Can I jump on the plane with you?" He said, "No problem." So we fly up there. My mom and dad, some of my family came over to see me, and I said, "Rusty, could you just spend a second with him?" Well, he spends like 30 minutes. He does Rusty for 30 minutes with my family. After that, my mom, I lived and died with Rusty Wallace. So he's big. Again, just one of the greatest in this business of all time, really.
And I'll say, if you're a motorcyclist, he and son Stephen Wallace, Stephen really runs it, Southern Country Customs. They customize Harley-Davidson motorcycles, and they do an amazing job. Last month, they were up at the Sturgis Rally, raised over $500,000 for the NASCAR Foundation with Rusty's ride. I had the opportunity to join them, which was really neat. And Mark, I'm going to be honest with you. Looking at those motorcycles, I'm not a Harley guy. They were amazing. That could convert me back.
Well, again, the sport, and one of the things we've lost, I think, a little bit from back in the day, we've got some great drivers now with great personalities, but we had characters back then. Rusty Wallace was a character, and he made things a lot of fun inside the garage, that's for sure.
Yeah, he did. And it's great to have him join the Motor Racing Network for a handful of their broadcasts, most recently at Darlington Raceway. And really neat to have him be a part of what we still do here in NASCAR. But right now, you know what? We're looking at Hall of Famers out on the racetrack, future Hall of Famers. We're looking at veteran drivers. We're looking at young drivers. Corey Heim is going to run this race for 2311 Raceway, or 2311 Racing, rather. And it's really cool to see what we've got when it comes to the 39 cars that'll start this Bass Pro Shops night race.
An interesting mix, no doubt about it. And, you know, we talked about Alex Bowman winning the last 2 pole positions at Bristol. In the last 2 qualifying sessions, not only has he started first, but we've had 6 Chevys, 3 Toyotas, and 1 Ford in the top 10. An absolute same snapshot of the top qualifiers here the last 2 times around. We'll have to see if that is going to play into it. Now, Alex Bowman was okay in practice, didn't set the world on fire, so we'll have to see if he can find the magic, find the lap that he needs here in just a moment.
Yeah, that's true. Let's go down to Wendy Venturini.
Good. Ryan Blaney ran the most laps of that round of practice, actually, more than anyone, 84 laps, fastest on that 15-lap average. What were you trying to accomplish staying out there for so long, and how much did the car change on you?
Yeah, I think really just, A, trying to learn with this tire, you know, kind of, hey, where does it go? And B, just I thought my car was pretty good early and stayed good enough to where we could just see where it went, and I didn't really need changes too drastic that I needed to come in and fix it. So yeah, overall a good practice session for us, and
feel like we have a decent idea of maybe the tire now. I think it's going to change tomorrow night when it cools down. You know, it being pretty hot right now, and track temp will change drastically tomorrow night. But hopefully we got a good piece right now. Just got to stick with it.
Now go back to that A part on that right side tire. It seemed like Group A didn't really affect, they said they didn't feel a difference in this tire, but did you in Group 2?
Not really. I felt like it was very similar to the spring, at least right now. I think maybe tomorrow night there'll be some bigger changes. A lot of marbles kind of started to come off of them, so that was good. And practice here is so hard because the bottom is so dominant. Then it gets marbles up top, and then you can't run up there, you know. So in the race, we'll get up there tomorrow night, and then you kind of see what your car needs there. But I thought the tire was pretty similar, and but it could all change tomorrow night. You never know.
All right, that's Ryan Blaney. He's led 555 laps here, guys. That's the most of any racetrack for Ryan Blaney.
Thank you very much, Wendy Venturini. The Group 2 cars from practice, they're still on the 10-minute clock to make their adjustments. The Group 1 cars from practice, our first qualifiers, Corey Heim will be the first one. They're lined up on pit road ready to qualify. That will happen when we come back to the world's fastest half mile.
At Progressive, we understand the bond you have with your boat. It's why people name theirs.
I was pretty hungry and looking at a menu when I named my boat Change Your Tuna. The backup names were Trick or Trout, I Salmonly Swear, and, oh, it gets worse, New Squid on the Block. It wasn't my best day.
Whatever you call your boat, protect it. And start with a quote from Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
Hi, it's PRN's Brad Gilley. Did you know you could take PRN with you anywhere?
Speedway, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
No one's paying me to say this, but you've been our lifeline. We have no internet. We have no TV. We barely have cell service. I don't know how I'm able to get to you. My Wi-Fi is not working. And I have a radio, and I finally got power on, and I have it plugged in, and I could hear you. You're the only station I can get in.
Wow. Well, That's why I'm glad
we're here.
we're here.
So-
Wow.
The report that we got was that a severe tornado was heading right toward us. But I just want to commend you gentlemen for the job that you're doing, for keeping us informed.
I just wanted to say thank you for being on the radio and guiding us to, where we can get help.
I just want to tell you, the first thing I heard was your voices the next morning. Oh, shoot. And it made me cry. The comfort of hearing your voices.
My respiration, perspiration, and aggravation are sky high, but you guys have been the guiding light.
Your local AM station makes a difference.
Qualifying has just opened up for the Bass Pro Shops night race. Corey Heim, the first car on the track in his first lap on the track of 15.789. Let's go down to Andrew Kurland.
Brad Keselowski was fourth in that practice session, is currently watching Corey Heim run some laps. What are you anticipating ahead of this qualifying session?
The track to gain a lot of speed. I feel terrible for this guy going out first. The track sat for 20 minutes and just crushed it, but hopefully the track comes in just right for when we go out. I think we go out like 17th here. Usually it takes about 10 cars.
Here we go for qualifying.
Have a great car.
I saw you were looking at the
Bristol
tires
night
after
race here
practice. You said looks pretty good. So what was your evaluation of them?
Yeah, I think our Castrol Ford Mustang here it's got good speed, good pace, keeping the tires on it. Bodes well for tomorrow.
That's Brad Keselowski. He's hoping to put a quick lap down here in qualifying.
Brad must think he has a good car. He's focused.
Yeah.
He's willing to do the interview, but he is going to be succinct. He's going to give you an answer as quickly as he possibly can. And again, an indication that we are not going to see some quick laps here, at least at the beginning of this qualifying session, because the track did have a chance to sit just a bit, and that's never going to be good for the guys going out in the first 2, 3, 4 spots.
I like what he said, though, because right now we're going to look at Corey Heim and go, man, a 16.673. That's about 0.3 of a second off the fastest time. And Brad said, man, I feel really sorry for him because you're just not going to make a fast lap. Chad Fincham, the second to go out, he is at a 16.054. And let's go down to Wendy Venturini.
Carson Hocevar was fast in that practice early. Do you think the track is going to change much for your qualifying lap?
I hope not, but we'll see. It normally is looser, less grip, but ultimately you don't want to go out super early. That's when it's really, really different. So hopefully where we're at, right here in the middle will suffice, and this Delaware Life Chevy could be pretty good, and hopefully the Hendrick engine shop got this thing tuned up.
All right, that's Carson Hocevar. He is seated with his earplugs already in his ears. It's a very loud racetrack, but he is focused and ready to go.
So at this point, we've had only 3 drivers attempt their qualifying. Austin Hill has just gone out for the quickest lap at 15.612, 122.905 miles per hour. Gets him up above Corey Heim and ahead of Chad Fincham as well.
Actually went faster on his second lap, I should say, a 15.480. And for Austin Hill, again, he is running in the Xfinity Series playoffs opener later tonight, the Food City 300. Any extra lap time he can get here at Bristol Motor Speedway is going to be helpful.
Absolutely, and it's been a rough second half of the season for Austin Hill, so they would certainly welcome something that would bring a smile to their face, the team, and of course, welcome North Carolina.
Yeah, Austin Hill actually comes into the playoffs with 0 playoffs points because he ended up being penalized and sat down a race after the incident that happened at Indianapolis Motor Speedway with Eric Almirola.
So he lost 22 points and then another, I believe, 5 that he could have had, so 27 points. Would he love to have those right now? You bet.
I'll bet. Wendy Venturini, what's going on down on pit road?
Ryan Preece finished the best of this racetrack of 7th last year. Ryan, you feel pretty confident about your car at Bristol, and what more do you want out of it in qualifying?
No, honestly, I feel like it's pretty good. So the Kroger-Stoke Ford Mustang is solid, and proud of the car the RFK boys brought. So qualifying's pretty important here. Track position's really important, so hopefully we're going to lay a lap down.
All right, that's Ryan Preece, who has his eyes peeled up on the big screen. Andrew Curlin.
Kyle Busch is actually getting in his car right now, but he's been watching everyone go. He actually is using his phone to zoom in on the big screen just to get a rip.
Bristol any day. It's nothing like this weekend. If you're a NASCAR fan, it's one of the best events of the year. He's going to do a little bit better than Corey Heim, but not quite as quick as Austin Hill. We talked about all those laps that Daniel Suarez turned in practice. We'll see what he can do here in qualifying.
Getting late in the year, still no news from Suarez where he'll end up. Remember,
Quiet, silly season.
it really has.
In all your years, Jeff, have you ever seen it be this stagnant almost in the off season for open seats and movement?
Yeah, it's low on the list for sure. You get a guy like Daniel that he's won Cup races, and certainly people would like to have him on his race team, but how many teams out there have drivers they don't like? That's not very many of those.
Suarez goes second quick. And he's trying to build the resume at the end of the year here with 3 top 10s in the last 5 races as well. Had a good little stretch at the end of the regular season and start of the playoffs. Riley Herbst taken to the track for 23-11.
Been a big year of learning for Riley, his first full-time year in the Cup Series.
And to that point, Steve, talking to Damaris Steve, he'll tell you, Riley always gets better during the race. We may start stage 1 kind of learning a little bit, but he always shows improvement in stage 2 and 3.
Yeah, I think we underestimate just how hard Sundays are. We see drivers like Denny Hamlin and Larson and Blaney and Bell, and the list is very long if they make this look easier, but it's anything but. So for a younger driver, trying to kind of cut his teeth and figure it out. One thing I will there's been some moments, Jeff, but not a lot of consistency.
Yeah, they certainly want to run better. I know they've been making some changes. I know they've struggled on pit road quite a bit to start some of their finishes as well.
Last couple weeks have gone, but yeah, we've had some really fast Ally Chevys here, and struggled a little bit in practice here today, but qualifying's a whole different ballgame. So hopefully we've got it right. We're gonna find out here shortly, but hopefully we can lay a lap down.
Awesome, good luck.
It would be hard anywhere, Steve, to get 3 straight.
Speed 124.581. So currently, Zane Smith is on top of the standings. Not a huge surprise. I mean, this is a pole sitter from Talladega. He's been our fastest qualifier this season for front row.
Yeah, he really has good qualifying speed. You know, John Hunter Nemechek, unfortunately, Legacy Motor Club did not make the playoffs with both John Hunter and with Eric Jones. But John Hunter has opened the playoffs as a non-contender with an average finish of 5th. He had that 4th place run at Darlington, a 6th place run last weekend at Gateway. Legacy Motor Club truly is coming into their own right now.
No question. And again, we spoke about a moment ago how Michael McGow said, look, we need to not only keep pace, but we need in these final 10 races to try to gain more on the playoff drivers so we have a better shot to start 2026 in a way that gives us a better chance to make the playoff. Legacy Motor Club certainly has momentum towards that with both John Hunter Nemechek and Eric Jones.
For sure. Cody Ware just made his laps. He was not able to hold it to the bottom in turn number 4. That means he is 5th quick. So your top 10 so far, Zane Smith is the fastest, followed by Riley Herbst, Noah Gragson, Austin Hill, Cody Ware, Daniel Suarez, Todd Gilliland, Ty Dillon, Corey Heim, and Chad Fincham, your top 10.
This is a Camry. This is a Camry on NASCAR. This is a Camry on NASCAR with Ty Gibbs behind the wheel. Now you're up to speed. You in? Follow the action at tgrna.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, LLC.
You've only got so many weekends. Spend one doing something nobody saw coming. Is it a party, a festival, a race? It's all of that, and all at once. Concerts, tailgating, unbelievable action, 100 reasons to say this is actually awesome. It's fast, it's wild. It's the cutoff race in NASCAR's playoffs, the Wild Card Weekend. The Bank of America Roval 400, Sunday, October 5th. Get tickets at charlottemotorspeedway.com.
The next cars coming up include Cole Custer, Justin Haley, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., A.J. Allmendinger, Eric Jones, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Carson Hocevar from Bristol Motor Speedway. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network. These cars are about to fire it off in anger.
Logano back across the stripe. Now Zane Smith putting on some pressure.
Side by side, Austin Cindric has him at the line, and he will take the lead into one.
Boy, what a save. We got cars sideways. It's Christopher Bell. He spins and collects a couple cars. Here comes Shane Van Gisbergen on the bottom. He's looking for second.
Now Chris Buescher fired out of a cannon at turn 2. He's right into the rear bumper of Ty Gibbs. Which way is he going to go?
Oh, it's a multi-car accident. I want to say 15, 20 cars. Looks like Austin Cindric is involved. Denny Hamlin. Guys, that took out about 2/3 of the field.
We have a fight on pit road between two crew guys. One of them is with Ty Gibbs. One is with Brad Keselowski.
Brad Keselowski will see the white flag as he drives under the start-finish line.
Chase Elliott has battled at the front all night long. He's won the war. Chase Elliott has just punched his ticket to the playoff.
Awesome job, man. Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
This is PRN.
Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway. Qualifying continuing for the Bass Pro Shops night race coming up at 7 o'clock Eastern. The NASCAR Xfinity Series Food City 300. Ross Chastain will join Mark and I in the booth for that broadcast. But first, he's got to take care of his sit-down job. Andrew Curlin.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Ross is going to be in the booth with us tonight. You're going to be giving us some analysis for the Xfinity race. So what's the analysis on practice? What did you see, and what are you looking for when you're going to qualify?
I felt a lot of cars around the bottom, Andrew, for our Moose Fraternity Chevy. We started off okay, balance-wise, and speed is there. And then we fell off. We built too tight on the long run. So we stopped around lap 20 and made an adjustment and fired back off again, pretty good, and then built tight again. So got some tightness in the Moose Chevy. See if we can get that better tomorrow. Right now, though, I was too loose on the first lap, so tough battle for Phil Surgeon to decipher everything I'm saying and make the right adjustments for qualifying.
Guys, that's Ross Chastain. He's got to climb inside this #1 Moose race car. He's got his earbuds in, and he is ready to go rip a fast lap around Bristol.
Speaking of ripping a fast lap, Justin Haley, quickest in practice, in a tie with Ryan Blaney, has gone to the top. He's gone a little bit quicker than he practiced, 15.272 on his opening lap, and his second lap just a tick slower, about 0.7 of a second. But Haley now goes to #1. His speed 125.584 miles per hour.
And obviously his speed transferring over from practice in a good way. So what we're looking at as we look out the window, Mark, half of the track is covered in shade essentially. The entire front straightaway, the sun is still shining on it. You go into turn 1, about midway through turn 1 is where you start to see some of the shade all the way through the back straightaway, and then to halfway around turn number 3. That's where we sit with shade versus sun, and after 10 cars, as Brad Keselowski said, the track should get better.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. next up at the plate, followed by A.J. Allmendinger, Eric Jones, Kyle Busch. Brad Keselowski looked pretty quick in the practice session. We'll have to see how he'll do. I think he's kind of quietly confident he's got a good race car.
This was a track Ricky Stenhouse Jr. used to look forward to going to. A couple of runner-up finishes here in a prior generation of race car. He's third quick on his first lap. Let's see where Ricky Stenhouse Jr. can go on his second. Can he go a little quicker? Can he move up on the scoreboard? Boy, does he. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. now the fastest of 15.220, 126.071 miles per hour as we go back down to Andrew Curlin.
Yeah, and that lap certainly caught the attention of William Byron, who is getting ready to roll off in qualifying. You finished 6th earlier here in the spring. What have you and Hendrick Motorsports learned, and how do you approach this weekend?
Yeah, just it seems so far like pretty normal Bristol things. So just trying to get our car balanced, and big focus right now on a good qualifying lap. So hopefully can go in there and hit both ends of the track.
What's that like from behind the wheel? How intense is a lap around Bristol?
It's not that intense if you get it right, but it's very intense if you start to miss it, so yeah.
That's good advice from William Byron. If you're doing it right, it feels pretty good.
William Byron has started top 10 this season 18 times. That's 1 more than Chase Briscoe, 4 more than Tyler Reddick. Chase Briscoe has the best average starting position, 9.8 with 6 pole positions. William Byron right there at 10.7.
Well, A.J. Allmendinger was fast in practice. That did translate to qualifying. He is now the fastest on the racetrack, a 15.117 second lap at 126.930. Now we are about 0.2 of a second faster than the fastest lap we saw in practice, Mark. The sun is continuing to go behind the grandstands. The track is continuing to get faster and faster.
I thought it would take a 14.9 something to win the pole position, as it did for Alex Bowman earlier this year. And I was beginning to wonder, we were stuck in the 15.3s, 15.2s. Now I think it may take a 14.8 or low 14.9 to grab the pole position.
Eric Jones on the racetrack now, and when you talk about, think about that, sub 15 seconds to go a half mile. Less than 15 seconds to go a half mile. I can remember Jimmy Johnson getting out of his car one time on the back straightaway. That's where they would stop the cars. And he looked at me and his hands were shaking. And he said, that's what it's like here. Like, I mean, it was like legit. His hands were shaking because drivers have described this. I remember Mike Skinner talking about it, just saying, to be fast here, you are literally wrecking the entire time around, and you don't breathe.
I was just going to say, they don't breathe. And when they get out of the car and they're huffing and puffing, it seems like they take one big breath, they head out on the qualifying. If they're going to go a second lap, they take a breath at the start-finish line and hold it again. It is on razor's edge when it comes to qualifying here at Bristol. Things happen so fast. So Allmendinger, 15.117, 126.930 on top. And on the racetrack now, an 8-time Bristol winner, Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch was 36th overall in practice earlier. Have they found speed? I don't know that they have, Mark. Among the 16 drivers that have gone out right now, Kyle Busch is 10th among them, and he's on his second lap of qualifying.
Kyle Busch has started top 10 only 9 times this season, and certainly qualifying has been something that they have not excelled at. And right now, only 9th quick among the 16 drivers that have attempted their speed, and that's going to drop his average starting position from 16.6 down to maybe even the 17s after today. But when you see Kyle Busch qualifying, average qualifying 16.6, that's just not normal Kyle Busch stuff.
Not at all. Brad Keselowski making his warm-up lap as we pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network. First lap for Brad Keselowski, 4th quick. He's on his second lap right now, but let's go to the man who is second quick. He is with Andrew Curlin.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is watching everyone put some laps down. How did you feel about your lap, and can a lot of people beat that?
Well, I mean, Allmendinger beat it by a lot, so there's definitely a lot to be had out there. But, you know, with the track changing, who knows if they hit their balance or not. It's such a fine line to get your balance right. My guys did a good job. We've struggled in qualifying this year. Sat on the front row here earlier in the spring. Our NOS Energy Drink 47 was not exactly like we wanted, but, you know, lap time-wise, it wasn't terrible in practice. So we'll go back and try and get it running better and handling better and see if we can keep the speed that we had in it. But I'm happy with that. We'll see kind of where that hangs on to, you know, for us. But all in all, definitely happy with our Saturday.
I've heard a lot of people.
Friday.
It is Friday, not Saturday. I've heard a lot of people throw your name out as a contender for Saturday, tomorrow. So where would you rank this track in terms of your favorites?
It is my favorite. So we've got a handful of second place finishes here in the Xfinity Series, Cup Series, on the dirt, on the concrete. So I'd love to get a win here for sure.
It didn't take long for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. to say that Bristol Motor Speedway is his favorite track on the circuit.
Carson Hocevar has just gone 3rd quick at 15.306, 125.363. So our current top 5, A.J. Allmendinger, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Carson Hocevar, his teammate Justin Haley 4th, Brad Keselowski 5th. The rest of our top 10, Zane Smith, Cole Custer, Eric Jones, Riley Herbst, and Noah Gragson.
And Brad Keselowski has done something different than all of the 18 drivers that have gone out, Mark.
He did. I missed it.
He only made 1 lap.
I should have looked at that.
That's it. Brad Keselowski was 1 and done. So I guess satisfied with that 1 lap. I don't know that 5th in the first half of the qualifiers is going to get you a top 10 starting spot. But Keselowski's got a lot of experience here, including race-winning experience. Man knows what he's doing.
Oh, absolutely. He can get it done here at Bristol Motor Speedway. He's one of those guys, just get it close. Get the car somewhat close to everybody else. He doesn't necessarily have to have the best car to win here. He's one of those kind of guys.
Michael McDowell just went out 7th quick as we go back down to Andrew Curlin.
Yeah, standing with the guy who's currently at the top of the leaderboard, A.J. Allmendinger. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. said you had a much faster lap than him. How did the lap feel?
Lap felt pretty good. You always can nitpick, and you know, I probably, knowing that if I knew what I knew in the car, I do sitting out of the car, probably got a little bit more out of it, but the Grizzly nicotine pouches Chevy was really good. We're probably, you know, that won't hold up for pole. The track as soon as the track gets shaded a little bit both ends, the playoff cars are going to be really fast, but hopefully that keeps us out of the range in that first stage. We had a really good practice to where you're not really on the verge of getting lapped, and then you go racing from there. So proud of the day for sure.
Well, that's A.J. Allmendinger, guys. Let's see how long he can hang on to the provisional pole.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Ryan Priest just went out. He ran a 15.281. That's good enough for 6th quick behind Brad Keselowski 5th, Justin Haley 4th, Carson Hocevar 3rd, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 2nd. Currently on the provisional pole, A.J. Allmendinger. When we come back, we're going to get into some of our playoffs drivers as qualifying continues for the Bass Pro Shops night race.
Whether your engine runs daily or only when you need it, Z-Max Micro Lubricant is the force you need against carbon buildup that can damage your engine. Combustion causes carbon and other harmful deposits to build up in your engine, fuel system, and transmission. And carbon is like sandpaper rubbing against your engine's internal parts. You don't want that. You want Z-Max Micro Lubricant. It soaks into metal and keeps your vehicle running at peak performance. Find out more at zmax.com or visit us on Facebook and Twitter. Protect your engine to the max with Z-Max.
Hey folks, it's Doug Rice. Did you know you can take PRN with you anywhere? By downloading the PRN mobile app, you can listen to our live races just about any place on the planet, and you will not miss a second of the action. Plus, you can hear our shows like the fantastic editions of Fast Talk, plus Brett McMillan on the Pit Reporters and Mark Garrow with Garage Pass. Get all the latest racing information right at your fingertips. The PRN mobile app, available at the Apple App Store and on Google Play.
Back at Bristol Motor Speedway, we'll take another break, come back to the track. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
My fiance is a veteran.
I did tours in Korea, Germany, and Bosnia before I got injured.
When Yusuf got out of the military, he needed help getting his disability benefits.
Luckily, DAV came to the rescue. They fought for me the same way that I fought for my country.
Every year, DAV provides life-changing support to more than 1 million veterans.
My victory is never giving up and finding more ways to serve.
He's pretty amazing.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Hi, this is Doug Rice at PRN. Join me for another great episode of Fast Talk. We have NASCAR Hall of Famer Kurt Busch. What does a much older, wiser Kurt Busch want to tell Carson Hocevar?
Well, let's bust out all the VHS tapes, and you can watch all my mistakes. Try not to do those, Carson. I like what he's doing. He's learning, and he's putting his time in up front.
That's Fast Talk right here on PRN.
Ty Gibbs on the racetrack as we go down to Wendy Venturini.
Chase Briscoe advanced to the round of 12 with his win at Darlington. Chase, what have you learned so far in practice at Bristol, and what are you hoping to get out of your car in qualifying?
Honestly, I thought our Bass Pro Shops Tracker Toyota was really good in practice. I was pleasantly surprised. You know, a lot of these weeks were a little bit off in practice and obviously make it better for the race. But yeah, today I was pretty happy. So yeah, I don't know what that's going to mean for qualifying in the race, but certainly so far it's been a good start to the weekend, and see if, you know, we obviously got a big advantage going this late in qualifying, so hopefully we can take advantage of it.
I was just going to mention to the fans at home, Denny Hamlin's the last car to go after you. What are you watching for in practice on the big screen right now?
Yeah, just seeing, honestly, if anybody's doing anything crazy different coming to the green. I mean, once you start your qualifying lap, you're going to be right on the bottom. So, yeah, just trying to see if anybody's doing anything different than the rest of them, and if they do, yeah, just trying to go out there and hit my marks, and hopefully it's good enough.
That's Chase Briscoe in the Bass Pro Shops red, white, and blue paint scheme this weekend.
Again, he's been the top pole sitter so far in 2025 with 6. Shane Van Gisbergen and Denny Hamlin with 3. The other multiple winners as far as pole positions, Alex Bowman, Ryan Blaney, William Byron. Ty Gibbs is now second quick, but he had quite the adventure on his second lap.
Yeah, it's a good thing that that first lap was fast, because coming into turn number 4, he was trying to keep those left side tires right at the transition of the banking to the apron. I think he dipped that left front down just a little bit too much, because he washed up the racetrack and was able to save it, able to collect it, in no real danger of hitting the wall, but he was also in no real danger of making a faster lap on his second lap.
He pulled the plug, pulled the ripcord, and will live to fight another day.
Yes, he will. So Ty Gibbs second quick behind A.J. Allmendinger, 15.117 to a 15.142. On the track right now, a former winner of the Bristol night race, Chris Buescher, is out there. He's got the orange and black colors on his Fastenal Mustang Dark Horse as he heads down the back straightaway. And Chris Buescher had a great finish last week at Worldwide Technology Raceway. That's why he's what we'll call on the left side of the scoreboard, Mark. He is in group number 2 here. And Chris Buescher goes out lap number 1. 10th quick. He's going to need a little more here on his second lap as he puts the left side tires not quite on the yellow line. In fact, it looked like he had to lift a little bit there in turn number 4, but he does go just slightly quicker, now 9th quick.
Chris Buescher on the season has been very steady in qualifying. Average starting position coming into this race, 11.8, and he's been a top 10 starter 11 times.
First playoffs driver on the track right now, that's Josh Berry, but we'll go down to pit road with Wendy Venturini.
Denny Hamlin has 4 wins at this racetrack. Denny, how confident do you feel being the last driver to go out in qualifying? Is it an advantage for you?
I mean, I'd rather be the last than the first. So now the conditions are going to continue to cool down, so should go a little bit towards our favor. It's just, do we hit the balance right, and do I do a good job?
How did that tire feel? I know we were waiting for a car to go by. Did that tire feel any differently today in practice?
Not really. I didn't notice really anything different. The fall off actually seems less than what we had here in the spring. So we'll see what we got. But overall, King's Hawaiian car was pretty good.
All right, that's Denny Hamlin hoping to roll into victory lane with the King's Hawaiian paint scheme this weekend. It is bright orange. You cannot miss it on the racetrack.
Josh Berry moves to 3rd.
Josh Berry, 38th in practice earlier, Mark, and moves up to 3rd. That's impressive.
A little bit of a jump. Would we call that a leap?
I would say that was a huge leap. The man on the track right now has won the last 2 pole starting spots here at Bristol. What he really needs to win is this race, but it can be helped here with qualifying.
No question. Here is Alex Bowman trying to win his 3rd straight pole at Bristol, trying to match the Hall of Famer Rusty Wallace in that regard. Here he is working out of turn number 4, and the answer is...
Lap number 1 for Alex Bowman. 6 quick right now. He will take that second lap as he's just above the yellow line that delineates the transition of the banking to the apron. Coming around 3 and 4, it is about more of the same. So let's see if Bowman can grab a couple more spots and go a little quicker on lap number 2. And it looks like he does not. So right now he's going to settle into 6 quick. No 3 consecutive poles for Bowman, but what he really wants is Saturday night speed more than he needs Friday speed, but Friday speed makes a difference.
Now he has to hope to get a good pit stall. Got a brand new pit crew. Hopefully he'll qualify enough forward that he can get himself a good pit stall or work out a deal with some of the cars in the back of the pack to get a good pit stall.
Mark, that is a great point. Well, the next driver on the track has only made 208 laps at Bristol total, and that would be Shane Van Gisbergen. Made an early exit from the spring race here at Bristol Motor Speedway and is certainly looking to improve where he is. Has Wendy's on the car this week for his Trackhouse Racing Chevrolet, and for SVG, what happens?
He is way down the running order, 16th right now out of 26 drivers. He'll try to pick it up here on lap 2.
Shane Van Gisbergen now drops it down to the bottom in turn number 3. Looks like he's rolling a little slower through the corners than a lot of the other cars we've seen, but is able to get back to the gas. And the second lap for him is almost identical. He did a 15.396 on lap 1 and a 15.397 on lap 2.
You know, when I think about SVG, no matter what happens in the playoff, he gets knocked down in round 1. Hopefully, maybe he gets to survive. Because if he gets to the next round with the Roval in it, you know, guess what? He could really make a serious threat to move into the next round. But even if he doesn't, he's certainly one of the best feel-good stories we've had all season long. And I think people need to give him a little bit of slack in the sense that he's trying to catch up his oval track racing, the guys that have had years and years and years of experience, and he's done a great job of that. They've improved. It's been slow, but he's certainly improved, and they'll have to try to take another step on the ovals next year.
Yeah, he's moved up at least 10 spots on his average finish on the ovals from the first half of what we've had this year to the second half. Ross Chastain making his second lap. First lap good enough for 6 quick. Will lap number 2 be quicker? And it is not a 15.239, so Chastain will settle into 6 quick. I'm not sure if that's going to be good enough for a top 10 starting spot, Mark. It might not be good enough for a top 15 starting spot.
I don't see it top 10. I give it a maybe top 15.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see because Austin Cindric is coming out on the track right now. Admittedly, for Austin Cindric, this is one of the tracks where he struggles. He does come in, however, above the playoffs cut line. 11 points over Austin Dillon right now. We've already seen one car prepared by Team Penske lay down a good lap. That's the Wood Brothers number 21 of Josh Berry, who is third quick. Now this is the second car out of the Team Penske shop and the first car from Team Penske proper. Austin Cindric, lap number 1 for him. Mark, how well can he do?
Austin Cindric is going to be number 2 in car number 2. Speed 1:26.804, not that far away. 1500ths from grabbing the top spot from A.J. Allmendinger.
He takes the checkered flag now. Lap number 2. Can he hop up to the provisional pole? He does not. Right now, second quick behind A.J. Allmendinger. I would say for Austin Cindric, that is absolutely the lap they needed today.
And again, it will get him a decent spot here, certainly. Maybe top 10, certainly maybe just outside it. But that's a really good lap for Austin Cindric. Has to be satisfied. And now they can check that off. Look, we've had a decent practice, a great qualifying from where we practiced. And now they can concentrate on the race.
2 Bass Pro Shop sponsored cars here. One a Toyota, one a Chevrolet. The Chevrolet of Austin Dillon is on the track right now. Minus 11 points to the cut line. Comes off of turn number 4. Let's see what RCR can put up for a number in qualifying.
A big wiggle from Austin Dillon at the exit of turn 4. Almost lost control of that car. He's 14th quickest on lap 1. We'll have to really charge hard here on lap number 2.
All right, let's see if he's conservative. If he pushes it, you have to imagine he found more if he doesn't wiggle on this one. And Mark, he found a little more. He does not improve in his position, however. He is 14th quick as we go down to Wendy Venturini.
Alex Bowman has started from the pole here twice at Bristol today. Right now you're qualifying from that 8th spot. Tell us how you feel about it and what is your car doing, Alex?
Definitely not good. That'll be about 18th. So certainly frustrated. Just haven't been amazing today. And then, yeah, like I thought my 1 and 2 was okay. I just didn't stick 3 and 4 very well there that first lap and kind of ruined both laps all at once. So, yeah, not what we needed with our Ally Camaro. And, yeah, got a lot of work to do. So hopefully we'll be better tomorrow.
How hard is it to pinpoint? Is it one area, multiple areas? Is it the car? Is it the driver when you go and assess what's happening today?
It's probably just the driver.
That's Alex Bowman being brutally honest with us here at PRN.
Tyler Reddick, 9th quickest on his opening lap. He's across the stripe, has completed his 2-lap qualifying run. Reddick improves 1 spot, goes from 9th to 8th on his second lap. So Allmendinger still remains on top. Right beside him on the provisional outside pole, Austin Cindric.
When we come back, the final 9 qualifiers for the Bass Pro Shops night race. These are the top drivers in the playoff point standings here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Hey, Joey Logano here, the driver of the number 22 Hunt Brothers Pizza Ford Mustang. What can a 3-time champion do by the end of this ad? A pit stop and grabbing a hunk of pizza at the closest convenience store near you. To find a location, visit huntbrotherspizza.com.
By downloading the free PRN mobile app, you can listen to all of our live race broadcast anywhere. You'll also have easy access to all of our award-winning studio shows. Get all the latest racing information at your fingertips with the PRN mobile app.
This is Kyle Petty for Echo Park Automotive. As you might imagine, I know a thing or two about cars, and I'm here to tell you about a whole new way to buy a car, truck, or SUV. Did you know that Echo Park Automotive has over 95,000 five-star reviews? On top of that, every car that Echo Park Automotive sells goes through a 190-point inspection to make sure that it looks and drives like new, so you leave happy. It's even in their name, Echo Park Automotive. Every car, happy owner. The official used car dealer of Speedway Motorsports.
Last 9 cars to qualify coming up right after this. From Bristol Motor Speedway, this is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
It's hard to believe in this day and age in the United States of America that children are hungry.
Our time on this planet is short. We have to give back to those in need.
Every child has a chance, no matter what obstacles they may encounter.
Never have we been taxed more as a society to help kids the way we are right now.
At Speedway Children's Charities, our mission is simple. Help every child we can.
Because all children
deserve joy
and hope
and love.
I'm PRN's Doug Turnbull, co-host of the 5 to Go podcast, a weekly deep dive into 5 motorsports issues. Devin Kupka gives the Gen Z view.
One thing that I've never seen before, when the cars got 4 wide, everybody stood up cheering.
And championship-winning mechanic Dan Elliott leans on his decades in the garage and promoting.
Unless everybody is aware of the rules, then no, it's not fair for everyone.
Listen to the 5 to Go podcast on GoPRN.com and subscribe on Apple and Spotify.
Daytona 500 and Iowa winner William Byron on the track qualifying as we go down to pit road, and Andrew Curlin.
And Josh Berry is standing by watching qualifying, currently 4th right now. It's a big weekend for you. How do you feel about your qualifying lap and rolling off tomorrow?
Yeah, I thought it was a big improvement from practice. I didn't feel very comfortable at the start of practice. I was struggling being pretty free, but the guys made some really good adjustments there. I thought we hit a solid lap there. Probably left a touch out there with how far we were off to start, but overall guys did a really good job, and we should be in the top 15 hopefully, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.
The task is to go win. Where's your mindset going into tomorrow night?
Yeah, I mean, it really hasn't changed. I mean, every week we come out here and try to win, right? I mean, we try to do the best job we can every time we're on the racetrack, and that's going to be the same tomorrow. We just need to just be able to move forward through the race and execute, have good pit stops, and just see what happens.
Well, guys, that's Josh Berry. He's watching these final couple of cars roll off.
Byron just went out. He is 4th fast on the racetrack now. Kyle Larson as we go back down to Wendy Venturini.
Austin Cindric is 2nd in qualifying in that number 2 car. Austin, give us some feedback on how happy you are with this tire and how your car is responding from practice and qualifying.
Yeah, it's been an interesting day. I feel like every time we come here, it's always a little bit different, but definitely feels like good old Bristol. I ran a lot of laps in practice and felt like we got some good idea on the wears and what we might need to do for tomorrow, but just proud of my guys, fast discount tire Ford Mustang. This has been a really difficult qualifying track for me in the Cup Series, so happy with wherever we end up really after this, but a lot of laps to do tomorrow and a lot of work to do.
All right, what do you do to approach the mindset 11 points to the good going into tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I think first box checked is qualifying, right? That's going to be our best opportunity to get stage points and trying to continue to increase that gap. I mean, we got to have a really good night. I mean, we're up against really tough competition, and I feel like our team's come well prepared.
All right, that's Austin Cindric. Give him a shout out, guys. He stood around and waited for our interview while he could have been long gone by now, so we appreciate that from Austin Cindric.
Genuinely good guy, Austin Cindric. So it's Allmendinger, Cindric, Gibbs, Larson, Byron, Berry, Stenhouse, Hocevar, Chastain, Reddick. That's our top 10.
Larson went out 4th quick on his first lap. Second lap in 1 and 2, just a little bit of a wiggle, shut it down. But he actually was doing very well, good enough on that first lap. Christopher Bell, lap number 1 for him. Mark is good enough for top 10.
And he is currently in the 6th position, trying to move up a little bit more, if not all the way to the top in the DeWalt Toyota. Here is Bell back to the stripe. And he is not going to improve, and he is currently outside of row number 3.
Christopher Bell and Josh Berry actually identical, fastest lap times of 15.214 for each of them. So I would say if you're Josh Berry and you were practicing in the low 30s, that's not too bad if you can match the lap time of Christopher Bell.
Again, nobody under 15 seconds at this particular point. And now on the racetrack, we have got Bubba Wallace.
Bubba Wallace, again, has had a fantastic opening to the playoffs. He comes into this cutoff race at Bristol, 50 points above the cut line. Here is a track where Bubba Wallace has been able to drive up to the lead, and he brings that 2311 Toyota across the start-finish line, lap number 1. Good enough for 6 quick, right behind William Byron. We'll see if he can get it a little bit more and maybe move up into the top 5 provisionally.
So here is Wallace again, charging through 3 and 4.
It should
to
lose
the finish line.
from lap 1 to lap 2, even if it's not a tremendous amount. Although A.J. Allmendinger, remember, did do it on his second lap. He ran a 17 and then an 11. So he was not fast enough for the current pole until his second lap.
If you had to say, an underrated MVP driver in the round of 16, would you put Bubba Wallace at the top of that list, Steve?
Absolutely. The win at Indianapolis allowed Bubba for the first time in his career to enter the playoffs early or be locked in early, to not worry about it. And he's carried that momentum, that stress-free attitude into really, really nice runs, fast race cars. Arguably one of the best cars at Richmond. A pit crew issue got him there. But it's been an amazing first round for Bubba Wallace.
Watch his hands. Middle of the corner, watch. Steady, tug, tug. Just a little bit tighter than he wants to be, meaning the car just doesn't rotate.
The first magic for me is basically the top 4.
From practice was not where it needed to be, and it started here in qualifying too. And this is going to start mid-pack.
Wow, 19th for Joey Logano.
19.
I mean, Paul Wolf told us this last week, Jeff. He said, we have not been good at Bristol, and we have to have a result at St. Louis. They got a top 5.
Well,
maybe they got enough points for a cushion.
So currently, if you're Austin Dillon, qualified 20th, as frustrated as you were, you had a big moment in your lap, and you're going to line up right here looking at the 22 car. That's got to motivate the 3 to think, hey, I know he's a little bit out there, but if he can't figure it out or has an issue, I can capitalize.
Boy, a nice recovery run for
minus 21, Chase at minus 28.
Pointing out.
No. Go ahead.
No Glenn, but
yeah, Marty. There.
Let's see if it can happen.
And the poor camera guy that's showing him.
Yeah.
Also,
oh, yeah.
Right.
Here, the worst could be his 4th. That means he'll have a very, very good pit stall to try to go win. Smiles.
I think it's probably part of AJ that's like, I can't believe this is happening. effusive about how good they were in practice.
Watch what he's doing here. He's going to be way off the pace on this lap. Okay, let's see if that was by plan. Watch the speed in 3 and 4.
Really there.
Wow.
How about it, no? 6 for Denny Hamlin. How about that for A.J. Allmendinger?
Did that happen?
I don't know. I closed my eyes on both of them, so I'm not really sure, but man, this Grizzly nicotine pouch of Chevy in practice was pretty good, and this.
In a decade. Did you realize the last time was 2015 Watkins Glen? You still got it, old man.
Well, you know, it's every old dog has his day or something like that. Hopefully we can do that for 500.
That was a fun qualifying session, Jeff.
Well, look, I think obviously A.J. Allmendinger, a real winner. But check out Austin Cindric. He comes in only 11 points to the good. That was a win for him. And I'll gauge.
Keep looking back for the rest of the playoff drivers. There they are, Austin Dillon, Joey Logano. There'll be a lot of focus. SVG back there in row 14.
Starting, he is in a deficit already.
Going to be an interesting Saturday night. It's the first cutoff race of the playoffs in the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series.